Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Maximum Dad Gaming. I'm Maximum Dad, and today we're going to start a new Let's Play series with. This is a game I've been looking forward to for a long time, and it came out last week. But this is Surviving Mars by Paradox Studios and Hamamont Games. Paradox, of course, did such games as Europa Universalis and City Skylines, and Hamamont is famous for their Tropico series. After Tropico 3, they took over from Calypso, and so this is a game that's been on my radar for quite some time, and I'm super excited that it's out. And literally, I have not stopped playing this in all my free time since it came out last week. But I just kind of played it a bit to get myself familiar with the mechanics of the game, and it seems to be confusing to a lot of people. And I don't know if you've seen any Steam reviews on it. I don't think it deserves the flack it's taking. It is a great. I love this game. This is a fantastic game. So let's quit the yapping and let's get started. So one of the things I figured out is, as you continue through the game, it'll give you a difficulty bonus up here, and my video capture screen is blocking it. Maybe I'll get rid of that in the next couple episodes. But there's a difficulty bonus up at the top of the screen. I'll give you a percentage. I don't find that to be terribly accurate. Obviously, like if you choose your mission sponsor, the ones at the top are going to be easier. The ones at the bottom are going to be harder. And that'll obviously affect your difficulty. But the biggest indicator of how difficult your game is going to be is the location that you choose and your starting square. Some of these, and you know what, let's just start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Paradox Interactive, because their chance is to discover more breakthrough anomalies, and breakthroughs have a chance of completely changing the dynamic of your game. So I love the idea of the breakthrough techs and how they can affect your game. So I'm going to choose Paradox because I want more chances to discover those anomalies. And I'm going to go with Futurist. I got a couple mods installed just to like mess around and play around. These are the 3 mods down here. They're kind of, but here are the normal ones all the way down here to random. And I'm going to choose Futurist. Now, this is the hardest combo. I think Futurist gives 230. Everything else is hovering around like, because Paradox Interactive gives you like 100, like brings your difficulty bonus up to like 200, and then Futurist. So right now we're starting off, and I know you can't see because of the video screen, but we're starting off at 230%, and here you can see we're going to discover more breakthrough anomalies to completely change our game. Researching a breakthrough tech grants applicants. The only down part is rockets require more fuel to launch. So instead of, I think the default is 80, they're going to require 100. So we may want to rush the tech that decreases the fuel consumption of rockets if we can. And then breakthrough techs are researched 30% faster. So that's absolutely huge. If we get a couple good breakthroughs in the beginning of the game, this could completely determine how the rest of the game is played out. And that's one of the things I love about this game is I played 4 or 5 different games already, and everyone has been completely different than the previous, depending on what breakthrough techs I've gotten and the order that the technologies show up in. And then the bonus tech, autonomous sensors. So sensor towers no longer require power maintenance. So they still cost the initial 1 metal and 1 electronic, I think, but you don't have to maintain them, and they don't require power. So you can kind of put those all over the map, and helps the scanning process. Now, what I like to do too is, I'm not a big fan of the orbital probes. I think one of the most difficult things that people have with this game, or that have had so far, is that they try to rush too fast. Plus, in the beginning, with the Paradox Interactive mission sponsor, it's going to take some time for a rocket to get refueled anyways. So it requires us to slow down and take it easy in the beginning, which is what I like to do anyways. But so instead of the orbital probes, I'm going to do some more electronics, because what I found is that once you start building with electronics, you want to have as much as you can, as quickly as you can, before you start, before you're able to produce them, because I find it just kind of gives you a bigger buffer. And already we're going to start with a moisture evaporator prefab and a fuel refinery prefab. Now, the biggest thing that we're going to need to find right away is water, because this evaporator is only going to be good enough for the fuel refinery. Once we start landing colonists on planet, we won't have enough money to send more moisture evaporators, because we'll be needing resupply shuttles. So we're going to take away the probes and get more electronics, just to kind of tide us over a little bit. So everything else looks good. We're not going to have a transport right away. We may bring that back in the second or third rocket, but yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't have it up right now, and it's poor planning on my part. Let's see. We're going to choose a site. Now I'm going to choose something a little. Now these selections here, these are like pre-existing, like they should be relatively easy starts. But we're gonna go something a little harder. Dust storms. I'd like something with meteors, because meteors have a higher chance of giving you anomalies that help your research. So I'd say this is a pretty good spot right here. I suppose I could do random, but the only problem is going to be dust storms, and a couple buildings won't work. Like the moisture evaporators will stop working, and your MOXIEs, the oxygen generator buildings, will stop working during dust storms. Also, your shuttles, once you research shuttles, the CO2 propulsion, they will be grounded during dust storms as well. And so we may be dealing with cold waves, meteors, not that much. I'd like to try and get more meteors if I can, as well as high metal count. This might be good. Let's do this one, because we got meteors. Still dealing with dust storms. We got a lot of metals, a decent amount of concrete and water. So let's start this. So again, and this may not be very exciting, but with the paradox start,
Welcome to Mars.
It's going to be kind of slow going in the beginning. So I may put some cuts in to kind of speed things along, but we'll see how it goes. So here's the intro command. We've got mission sponsor, Paradox, commander profile, Futurist. And I'm going to pause it right off the bat. Now, another one of the mods I have allows me to scan or queue up scanning more than the initial 5 tiles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scanning. And if you hover your mouse over each square, it gives you it'll say a high chance that this sector contains concrete and metals. And these metals, rare metals, because we want to start working towards rare metals, because that'll get us income, so we can expand. Here we go. We got metals, water, concrete. So I think starting in this starting square is going to be good, and then I'll just start. Now, what I could do is press play from here on out and just let it scan, but that's going to be too slow and not very exciting. So we got a good deposit of concrete here. Got about 1,100 concrete. The problem is, so the grades, what they mean is how quickly, or it's the rate at which you will be harvesting this resource. So very low. We're not going to get a whole lot very quickly, but we will still get, pretty much the full 1,100 if we choose to cover it with the concrete excavators. The next thing that we're going to do is start research. So, none of these are terribly helpful, and we're getting 100 research per soul, which is going to be kind of slow going in the beginning. Now, if you've seen Quill 18's the pre-release video, his series, and even Skystorm did a pretty good series. There's some main differences between what you saw in those videos and the release of the game. I found that research here is a lot slower. I think in the pre-release build that they sent out to various streamers and YouTubers, that they kind of sped up the game significantly just so they could get to the end game more quickly and show what that was all about. So in the base game, the research is significantly slowed down, and your techs come in like groups. So tier 1 is like the first 5 or 6 techs, and those can be switched around. Like the Logi fungi, that could come first, like it is here, or it could come at the 6th spot, but it will never come in the 7th spot. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's always going to be in tier 1. Same with, the engineering arm and the robotics. Like, this group of technologies is always going to show up in the first group, but the order may change. So yeah, I don't know if I want to start with transports because we won't get them for a bit. The cargo space isn't going to be that big of a deal because we just don't have a whole lot of money to, and we're going to be sending rockets back and forth from Earth more frequently. So I think the physics arm is where we want to go down. Maybe the social. We'll do the probes first, even though I didn't include any on the first shuttle, and then we'll do robotics after social, and then engineering, and then we'll see if we can get like the farm tech to show up either next or one of the first. So by the time we're ready to build our first dome, I'm gonna change the radio station. I like the Surviving Mars one. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. So we got some surface metals here. So I'm just gonna plop this down, and I'm gonna play. Now, the first thing I'm going to do to speed up the scanning process, is while I wait for this, is I'm going to find out where the edges of the drone radius is, and then I'm going to put sensor towers. So, I think I need the rocket to land. Also, one of my gripes is, like, I can't change the default skin. I don't like the Trailblazer skin, which is, like, your pre-order bonus. So I'm going to change it to white, because I like white better. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start collecting these surface metals. So I'm going to put a metals depot down here. And then I'm going to put a concrete extractor about... because I want pretty good coverage. The problem with this is it's so spread out. So I think I'm going to put this, and you can see on the right hand side there, it shows you the amount. I'm going to put it right here because, again, like the beginning is going to be slow going, so we don't need to worry about going too quickly. So I'm going to put some solar panels down. I'm going to put a battery down here, and then I'm going to connect these up with some cables, and I'm going to shoot that all the way over here. And then I'm going to put a universal depot down there so all of our stuff gets unloaded. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fuel depot right here and a rare metals depot right here. So that, because I think I want this, depending on where we expand to, I think we might expand down this way. Or our water source was up here in this sector, I think. Right up here. But, yeah, so we may want to expand this way. But right now, for the beginning, I think this will be like kind of our rocket pad here. So. And so now I'm going to crank it up to 3 because I just wanted all the jobs assigned very quickly so that they get started on it. And then I'm just going to let the little drones do their work. Let's see, we just got a meteor come down. So meteors have a chance of giving you polymers. Most likely it's a metal, but they have a chance to give you polymers as well, and polymers are very handy late game. But we need these solar panels built as well as a battery. And then I'm going to turn it off. So most work is done in shifts. So this is the night shift, this is the morning shift, and this is the afternoon shift. I'm going to turn this on the off for the night shift so that we're not using power and we get a chance to store up power for when we're going to eventually need it later. And then, yeah, so now basically our goal is to just get Mars ready for landing our colonists. So I just placed the moisture evaporator there, and I'm going to place a water tower here because we need to start our fuel production. So our fuel refinery and our evaporator are the two prefabs that we brought with us. We need to start making fuel so that we can refuel this rocket, have it go back to Earth, and so it can resupply us, because we only get one rocket. Because I didn't choose the rocket scientist commander profile. So, and then I'm going to turn that off here. And then I'm going to leave this on during the night. So this will be the only thing sucking power during the evening once we power our battery, so that I can start filling our water tank, just so we have some extra storage. Now we pretty much took care of all the surface metal. As we start scanning, and that reminds me, I need to start putting down some sensor towers. As we start scanning, it'll tell us what kind of materials to expect, and surface metal, stuff like that. So this is about the edge here. I need to hold down shift so I can build multiple. And then I'm going to go down here. Yeah, it's too far from the drone. Let's go right there. Now sometimes
Pipe leak reported.
If you click on something, I don't know if there's a hotkey, but I think if you like double click on it and then you want to like build something, sometimes the radius stays up, but that's not the case here. So I want to get them as close to the edge. See, it says that too far from working drone commander, and there's that. So I want to get it like right in the corner there. There's that. And then there's going to be one up here. So now we kind of have a sensor tower in each of the corners, I guess. There we go. We'll put it right there. So that way we can, because these won't take power or maintenance, even though they do cost electronics, which is why we brought extra with us in the beginning. So yeah, now we just gotta hope for some surface metals. I probably shouldn't have done that one first, just because it's mostly like rock. So we won't be getting a whole lot out of these middle areas, but because I'm a completionist, I'll scan these at some point anyways. Okay, so we just got sector G2 scan. I'm thinking it's G2. Yeah, I don't know the alphanumeric system, of which, like if it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But yeah, because that's not 2 square of anything. So we have 105 surface metals. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put down a metals depot right here. And then I'm going to bring my RC rover down. No, the rover. And I'm going to bring it here. Actually, I want to transfer drones. Actually, no, I don't, because there's not really a whole lot going on anyways. So I'm going to... Okay, so I'm going to keep it with 4. So that way we kind of get these loaded up fairly quickly. There's a little... Okay, so great. We got our first deposit of rare metals. Now the grade is low, which is better than very low, but it's still below average. Oh, we got 2 deposits. So I think I'm going to put a dome right here. And this will be our... But I'm gonna turn it off. Turning it off is basically pausing. I know there's this priority, but here I'm gonna place a blueprint and I'm gonna turn it off. So that means they're not gonna shuttle materials here, but that's just gonna let me know when I do start, expanding for people. This is gonna be because we got 2 rare metals deposits right here, so that we can start getting funding from Earth. And what I usually like to do is the first 2 domes I make, one will be
Sector scanned.
Ooh, more concrete. So yeah, it's kind of weird because we landed right on the edge of 2 sectors, and this one was explored, or it was like this one, and the corner was like right here. So I had no, for some reason, like even landing on it, you have no idea that you're on a deposit. And there is a little metal deposit here too, so that's helpful. But we got some more concrete, which is great. But yeah, my first 2 domes, my first one is kind of like the general purpose. So it'll have, if we research it quick enough, is going to have a farm, and then it's going to have and I'm going to try to get apartments too going up as soon as possible so that we can squeeze as many colonists in a small area as we can. And then we're going to have our electronics factory, our machine parts factory, and our polymer factory all outside here. And then we're going to split it up as our colonists start to age and make babies. We're going to make a second dome that's going to be just seniors and children, if we can. So, yeah, now at this point it's basically kind of let our drones do the work here. And this is kind of where it gets slow, because we're just waiting for scanning to get done while we kind of plan out our next move here. So I'm really hoping that, because we're scanning this area right now, and it said this sector had a high chance of discovering water. So if there's water over here, I'll probably want to put my second dome up here somewhere.
Milestone achieved.
So we did find water, but there's not a whole lot of it, and it's a very low grade. Great. Okay, at least we know water's there. So maybe we put a dome. The only problem is it's going to be far away from this one. And I don't know how I feel about kind of having 2 self-contained areas. I like them connected just in case anything happens. But having cables and pipes run for this long of a distance is just asking for faults and pipe leaks, which would take too long to fix. So this rover's almost done picking up this metal. We'll go and get the polymer over here. I mean, it could be worse. In one of my playthroughs, I did Paradox and Futurist profile, and I didn't discover any water, and I used up all my money on bringing materials in, so I couldn't afford another evaporator prefab, and I just couldn't grow because I couldn't get any more water than I was already getting. So that was not fun. Okay, so we found our first anomaly. So these eyeballs, they're a mystery anomaly. And we got some more rare metals, and we got some more concrete. So this concrete is a fairly decent size. It's got a decent amount. But we shouldn't be hard up for concrete. What's gonna hurt us is gonna be the electronics, getting those going, and metals. So we haven't found like a big metal deposit other than this. But as we start scanning, we'll discover more and more, hopefully. And I'm not sure what the deal is with the maps, because I think in the beginning it gives you coordinates, but I'm not sure if this is the case. But I think each time you play that map, the topography is going to be the same, but either the deposits themselves are random.
The on-site data validates our predictive models.
Okay, so we got 2,000 anomaly from it, or science points from this. So great. So that should get us our first two technologies. So we got the probes. Okay, this is important because this increases research provided by sponsored by 100. So we definitely want that as soon as possible so that we can effectively increase our research per soul 100%. So we're going to do that next. We discovered subsurface heating. I think our main problems were going to be meteors and dust storms, if I recall. So these may not be terribly important. So the subsurface heaters, but so it's not important that we take care of that right away. All right, now we just kind of wait. Now, a lot of people are not a big fan of the storage system, and I can see why, because it gives you no control over how much you want in storage, but you can manipulate it, because I want this closer to my main storage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 storage stockpiles, right? 2 depots, and they're all within the range of this RC rover. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to salvage this one. It doesn't cost any materials to build, and it doesn't cost any materials to maintain, but now I have a whole bunch of metal just laying on the ground. So now my drones are going to move it back to this one because it's within the range, and it's going to be closer to this. So I can basically, and then once we get the transport, you can set up trade routes to do the very same thing. But since we don't have a transport, we got to do the next best thing. Okay, so here we go.
Electrostatic dust storm approaching.
Here is a breakthrough anomaly. These are the most important ones because so much of our game is going to be reliant on breakthroughs. So I want to discover these as quickly and as often as I can. These ones just give you a flat out science points, research point boost. So usually it's like between 1,000 and 1,500, but I kind of want to save these for when I find a super important tech that I want to get as quickly as possible. Just because our daily research per soul is so low that I want to save these for when I get a really important tech that I need sooner rather than later. And here's another anomaly. The key ones, these unlock, so they just unlock what your next tech is going to be. It could be in a random branch. So it's not always like robotics, it's not always engineering, it's not always biotech, it's not always social, but it will unlock 1 or 2 of the next hidden ones, because you can't discover what these next ones are until you research the previous one. So that's fun. And then we do have some more polymers here, which is nice, but kind of anxious to see what this breakthrough is going to be. Space rehabilitation. So this one, colonists have a 50% chance to lose a flaw on their journey to Mars. It's okay. It's not one of the better ones. Plus, it's just, I don't know. We could have done better with that one. It's not the worst one I've seen, but at that point in the tech tree, because we're not going to be bringing colonists for some time, so we could have done a little better on that front. Yeah. So this is kind of when it starts to get boring, because now I'm just reliant on. No, I do want to discover this one, because these ones. That way, if I get the farm tech here, then I'll want to research that before the low G fungi. So I want to get these as well. But it's definitely the The breakthrough ones is definitely priority number one. These would be priority number two, and then the eyeball ones, which those have a chance to contain like your mystery. Oh, and we forgot to choose a mystery. I just at default it's random, so I wonder which one we'll get. And the mystery is kind of like the background story of your playthrough. So it could be like, I've played through a couple already, and I don't want to avoid spoiling anything, just in case we happen to get one of those. But they range from pretty cool to meh. But it isn't interesting. It just gives another like side story to what's going on, and some of them actually can completely change your game. So here's so we got all these discovered. So we got Explorer. Let's go to our research. So this is the Polymer Factory. Okay, and now we want this one after the Earth-Mars Initiative, because this one will increase the research provided by our sponsor for 100, and then this one increases our research by 100 for each RC Explorer vehicle. So after I research these two techs, I'm going to have a 300% increase in research, opposed to what I'm doing now. So that should hopefully speed things up. And then we got more applicants, which is helpful, and we'll do that later. The extractor amplification, we won't use that in the early game at all, but it is useful later on down the road once we kind of get our production facility set up. So that's great. And since I want to get that research going, I'm going to go ahead and oh, nice, we got so it looks like we've got a bunch of rare metals, which is nice. So funding shouldn't be that much of an issue. The only problem is that we'll have to create domes here, but we can relocate people, and we should have the tech once we get there to have that not be a problem. We got some more surface metal over here, so that's good. But yeah, I want this anomaly solved so we can get. So it's at least going to give us 1,000. Sometimes it gives 1,500. So discover Earth Mars Initiative for us right away, and then give us a good chunk to explore AI. So we're getting to that 300 research per soul threshold as much as we can. And then these drones are just moving the metals to here. Yeah, I mean things are about as going as well as we can expect. We got a good batch right here. So yeah, so it gave us 1250 research, which is great. So now we got the Earth Mars Initiative down. So now we're getting 200 research per soul. Now things should speed up a little bit, which is great because we want to get researching as much as possible and get these breakthroughs. Again, I wanted a better one to be the first one, but hey, that's part of the game, and that's a big point in the replayability, because if you get a strong breakthrough right off the bat, like it completely changes your whole game and it makes it a lot more fun. So I love that about this game. And as we get on, I'll explain some of the more frustrating things about this game, but there are definitely way more good than bad. I love this game. I haven't been able to put it down since it came out, so it's just fantastic. If you played on the easy difficulty and you make things easy on yourself, I can see how you run into some problems, because if you're not stretched thin, if you're not having to work for what you get, I can see how people would not appreciate that. But if you put it on a harder difficulty and you place yourself with, some obstacles to overcome, it becomes a much more fun game, and it does have the tools that you can solve the problems on your own. We got low battery. That's probably my RC rover here. So let's just go ahead and charge it now. So I'm gonna bring it over to the cable. That's how you charge. No, I want to load the drones up because I don't want to. What the? No, come on. Why did they just? Stop. Okay, there's one river. Oh, down here. Okay. See, like something like that, people will be like, "Oh, my drones just stopped working for no reason." Well, no, there was a reason they stopped working. It was just a little finicky to try and
Sectors anomaly.
another anomaly. Ooh, okay. I think after we discover this anomaly, we'll end the video here because we're kind of getting on there. Like I said, it takes a while to
Meteor shower incoming.
storage. Oh, I didn't put down a concrete depot. So now these drones should get. And now we got a meteor storm in 3 souls. Oh, we got some more water. Okay, so we got some water close by here. So we're in an okay spot. We got some more surface metal. Okay, yeah, we're doing okay. I may want to move the landing site and start excavating this concrete here. Let's see what this breakthrough gives us. And then that'll be a good place to call it quits for this episode. Let's see what we got. Construction nanites. So buildings construct themselves slowly without drones. Nanites will seek out resources from nearby resource depots. So I haven't actually researched this one yet. I have seen it in one of my playthroughs. I don't know how useful this is going to be. Now, in the early game, it could be very useful to free up some time while our drones are busy off doing something else, like ferrying resources from one place to the next. But I don't see that being terribly useful. Maybe late game, but these are not as powerful as we could have got, which is kind of a bummer. But it is what it is. So, all right, I think that's a good spot to call it quits. Yeah, so we got our fuel up and running. We're slowly but slowly refueling our rockets so we can go back to Earth and grab more resources. We're not ready for colonists yet. It's going to be about some time before we're ready for colonists. I wanted to get our dome down to kind of, have a baseline of where we wanted to start, because we got 2 rare metals very close here, 2 rare metal deposits, so we can start earning some money so that we can buy more stuff. But yeah, so we got a nice little start here going. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this, well, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better next time. I'm Maximum Dad. Join us next time for episode 2. Same dad time, same dad channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.